ठीक है, तो दैट इज नॉट अ प्रॉब्लम, वी विल डू दैट। ठीक है, चलो, तो नाउ या सो लेट्स स्टार्ट विद द, कौन स्टार्ट करना चाहेगा इसको? फर्स्ट यू रीड द, या कौन है?
सर मैं।
नाम बोलिए। सिमरन। ओके सिमरन, ठीक है, तो जस्ट रीड इट आउट। ये अपना ईयरफोन निकाल दीजिए आप, बहुत ज्यादा आवाज कर रहा है। नाउ इट्स क्लियर?
यस सर।
हाँ चलो, तो नाउ यू रीड इट, व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इज रिटन हियर, पढ़िए।
सर टोंग ट्विस्टर वार्म अप सेशंस।
ठीक है, अब यहाँ पे ये कुछ लिखा हुआ है, to sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheap and cheapy chopper with a big black block. पढ़िए।
To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a pestilential prisons with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensations of a short sharp shock from a cheap and cheapy chopper with a big black block.
Now अब आपको जैसे बताया गया था कि जो क्या कहते हैं इसको, मुंह को दबा लेना है और बिल्कुल इस तरीके से कि दोनों वाल जो है कि आपस में सट जाए, एंड देन यू हैव टू स्पीक like this, to sit in a solemn silence, something like that. Yeah, पढ़ो।
To sit in solemn silence in a dull.
नहीं, you're cheating. Let's do किसी और को करने दो। यस शुभांगी, स्टार्ट करो, लेट्स सी। सिमरन थोड़ी देर बात करते हैं, पहले देख लो, ठीक है? हाँ बोलो शुभांगी।
तो सीधा या फिर वो कर बंद करके?
पहले आप ये पढ़ लीजिए, जरूरी है, पढ़ लीजिए।
To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheap chopper with a big black block.
Yeah, now you hold your mouth and just speak. Now speak.
You should.
ठीक है, go ahead, don't worry.
To sit in silence.
ठीक है, पढ़ो। Don't worry, कुछ क्लियर नहीं आ रहा है आवाज, don't worry about that. ये read it, that full effort करो।
Okay, sir. To walk in a prison
ठीक है।
Awaiting the sensation of a short shock from a cheap chopper with a big black box.
ठीक है, एक बार और पढ़िए।
To sit in silence in a dull dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheap and cheapy chopper with a big black box.
Yeah, now read it loudly. Normal.
To sit in a solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheap chippy chopper with a big black block.
Are you finding the difference जब आपने पहली बार पढ़ा था और चौथी बार पढ़ा है?
Yes sir.
क्या डिफरेंस था?
सर वो एकदम क्लियर थे वर्ड्स पहले से।
तो कभी भी प्रेजेंटेशन करने जाना हो तो हैव दैट गुड थेरेपी, उसके बाद आप प्रेजेंटेशन करोगे, इतना स्मूथ वर्ड्स निकलेंगे और क्लैरिटी होगी, यू कांट इमेजिन। ठीक है?
यस सर।
चलिए अब इसी को स्पीड बढ़ाते हुए पढ़िए। लाइक to sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a pestilential prison, lifelong sensation पर short sharp from cheap chopper with a big block. फिर इसको और स्पीड बढ़ाओ। ठीक है, चलो.
Yes, sir. To sit in
10
Solomon in a
times,
dull
10
dark
times, 10
dog.
times. हाँ, 10 times पढ़ना है.
To sit in Solomon silence in a dull dark dog in a pristine prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black ball.
और स्पीड करो, और स्पीड करो.
To sit in Solomon's silence in a dull dark dog in a presidential prison with a lifelong waiting sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block.
और स्पीड बढ़ाइए.
To sit in Solomon's silence in a dull dark dog in a presidential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block.
और तेज, और तेज, और तेज. 10 बार लगातार बोलते जाइए, रुकिए मत.
Silent and dull dark dog in a presidential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block. To sit in a Solomon silence and dull dark dog in a presidential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a chippy chopper with a big black block. To sit in a Solomon silence in a dull dark dog in a presidential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block. Sir, और ना?
10 की गिनती आती है?
Yes, sir.
तो
Count
कितनी बार हुआ?
4 बार.
तो जब 10 बार बार कह रहा हूँ तो बार बार पूछ क्यों रही होगी? करना है बोलो.
To sit in Solomon silence in a dull dark dog in the presidential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black box. To sit in Solomon silence in a dull dark dog in presidential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block. To sit in a Solomon silence in a dull dark dog in a presidential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block. To sit in Solomon silence in a dull dark.
Compete करो.
To sit in Solomon silence in a dull dog presidential.
पढ़ो. Don't worry.
To sit in Solomon silence in a dull dog in presidential prison with a lifelong. To sit in Solomon silence with
चलो ठीक है. Thank you. Okay, सिमरन try. सिमरन. सिमरन are you there?
स्पीड में पढ़िए या फिर जॉ लॉक करके?
पहले जो है कि आप नॉर्मल पढ़िए, फिर जॉ लॉक करिए, फिर उसके बाद 2 बार पढ़िए जॉ लॉक करके, फिर उसके बाद स्पीड में पढ़िए.
To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dog in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block. So, अब जो लॉक करके?
जी बिल्कुल.
To sit in solemn silence. I can't. नहीं हो रहा है,
छोड़ दो. वैष्णवी. आपका माइक बंद है वैष्णवी, चेक कर लिया करो. पहले नॉर्मल पे एक बार पढ़ो, फिर जॉ लॉक करके पढ़ो, फिर 2 बार, फिर उसके बाद फिर नॉर्मल पढ़ो, फिर स्पीड से पढ़ो. क्लियर?
Okay, sir. To sit in a solemn silence in a dull dark dog in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block. To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dog in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheap and chewy chopper with a weak black dog. Sir, for one time.
हाँ, ये 2 बार बोले, 2 बार मतलब क्या होता है?
Sorry, sir. Sorry.
आप लोगों का कम्युनिकेशन इतना पुअर क्यों है? एक ही चीज को 2 बार पूछते हो।
Sorry, sir. Sorry.
चलिए,
To sit in solemn silence in a dull, dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheap and chewy chopper with a big black dog. To sit in solemn silence in a dull, dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheap and cheapy chopper with a big black block.
आर यू फाइंडिंग द डिफरेंस जब आपने पहली बार पढ़ा था और चौथी
Yes,
बार पढ़ा है?
sir.
क्या डिफरेंस था?
सर सर थोड़ा वॉइस जो है लाउडर थी और पूरे मतलब जो माउथ है उसका एक्सरसाइज एक हिसाब से पूरा मतलब जॉस खुल रहे थे मेरे। जो पहली बार
Right.
पढ़ा था उसमें वो चीजें नहीं हो पा रही थी।
वेरी गुड। तो अब क्लियर डिफरेंस
Yes,
समझ
sir.
में आया कि इस एक्सरसाइज का कितना
Yes,
बड़ा
sir.
फायदा होने वाला है?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
आपकी पढ़ाई का क्या फायदा जब आप बोल ही नहीं पाओगे साफ साफ?
Yes, sir.
तो ये भी बहुत जरूरी है, कम्युनिकेशन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट है आपकी लाइफ का।
Yes, sir.
चलिए अभी स्पीड से पढ़िए। टू सिट इन सॉल्वेंट सेंस एंड लॉकडाउन पिछले लाइफ लॉन्ग सेशन पर सब चीफ जब बिग ब्लॉक, ठीक है?
Sir, for 10 times. Okay, sir. To sit in a solemn silence in a dull dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheap and cheapy chopper with a big black block. To sit in a solemn silence in a dull dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheap and cheapy chopper with a big black block. To sit in a solemn silence in a dull dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of short, sharp shock from cheaper and cheapy chopper with a big black block. To sit in a solemn silence dark dock pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of short, sharp shock from cheapy chopper with a big black block. To sit in solemn silent dark dock pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of sharp shock from a cheapy chopper and with a big black block. To sit in silence in a dull dark pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheapy chopper with a big black block. To sit in solemn silence dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheap and cheapy chopper with a big black block. To sit in a solemn silence in a dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short shock from a cheap and cheapy chopper with a big black block. To sit in a solemn silence and in a...
चलो कंपटीशन करते हैं, ठीक है? चलो स्टार्ट।
To sit in
चलो
silence
चलो 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 चलो, बीच में ब्रेक मत करो, चलो स्टार्ट।
To sit in a solemn silence in a dull dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of short shock from cheap and black block. To sit in a solemn silence in a dull dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of shock and from cheapy. To sit in a solemn silence in a dull dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheapy and cheaper chopper with a big black block. To sit in a solemn silence in dull dock in to sit in a solemn silence in dull dock in pestilential prison with lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of short sharp shock from cheap and cheapy chopper with a big black block.
जाओ को खोलिए, प्रोनाउंसिएशन ठीक नहीं होता। चलो थैंक यू। अंजलि कुशवाहा।
Yes, sir. So start. To sit in the solemn silence in a dull, dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong
pestilential prison with a lifelong lock.
With a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheapy chopper with a big black block.
Now lock your jaw and then.
To sit in a solemn silence in a dull, dark dock in a pestilential prison with a long lock, awaiting the sensation of a short shock black block. To sit in a solemn silence.
दो बार करना था अंजलि।
Sorry, forget. To sit in a solemn silence in a dull, dark dock in a pestilential with a long lock, awaiting the silence of a short, sharp shock from a cheapy chopper with a lock lock.
चलो आप पढ़ो.
To sit in a solemn silence in a dull, dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheapy chopper with a black block.
कुछ डिफरेंस आया पहले और चौथे बार पढ़ने में?
यस सर, वो वर्ड्स थोड़े अलग अलग और अच्छे से मतलब साथ में पढ़ा रहे थे और अलग अलग फोकस हो रहा था.
ठीक है, चलो आप स्पीड से पढ़ो. ठीक है.
ओके सर. To sit in a solemn silence in a dull, dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheaper chopper with a black block. To sit in a solemn silence in a dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheapy chopper with a black block. To sit in a solemn in a dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong block, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheapy chopper with a black
बिग
block.
ब्लैक ब्लॉक है. बिग आप छोड़ दे रही हैं.
Big black block. To
ठीक
sit in
है,
solemn
वैष्णवी एक काम करो, कम्पीट करो इसके साथ. चलो दोनों एक साथ पढ़ना शुरू करो. चलो.
To sit in a solemn silence in a
To
dark
sit in a solemn silence in the pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting sensation of short, sharp shock with cheap chopper with a big black block.
चलो 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 एक साथ फिर से स्टार्ट करो, कंपटीशन करो. या अंजलि.
To sit in a solemn silence in a dull dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of short, sharp shock from cheapy chopper with a big black block.
चलो 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 एक बार और कंपटीशन कर लो.
To sit in a solemn silence in start. To
Again,
sit
yeah. To sit in a solemn silence in a dull dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of short, sharp shock from cheap chopper with a big black block.
चलो थैंक यू. यस अनन्या.
Yes, sir.
पढ़ो. पहली बार नॉर्मल पढ़ना है, दो बार जॉ लॉक करके पढ़ना है, फिर नॉर्मल पढ़ना है, फिर स्पीड से पढ़ना है. ठीक है.
Yes, sir.
चलो.
To sit in solemn silence in a dull, dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheapy chopper with a big black block.
ठीक है. Now lock your
To
jaw.
sit in the solemn silence in a dull, dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheapy chopper with a big black block. To sit in solemn silence in a dull, dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheapy chopper with a big black block.
चलो ग्रेट. अब ऐसे नॉर्मल पढ़ो.
To sit in a solemn silence in a dull, dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheapy chopper with a big black block.
कुछ फर्क आया पहले बार और चौथी बार में?
Yes, sir. Free
क्या
feel
फर्क
हो रहा है ये बोलने में
हाँ.
इस बार.
कोई भी प्रेजेंटेशन जब देने जाना हो तो सबसे पहले ये जॉ लॉकिंग थेरेपी यूज कर लो.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है. चलो अब स्पीड
Yes,
से
sir.
पढ़ो. शुभांगी आर यू देयर? शुभांगी पंत. आप लोग कैमरा बंद करके क्यों बैठ जाते हो? चलो बी ऑन, मतलब थोड़ा ऑनर दो सबको भी. शुभांगी आर यू देयर? चलो नाउ कम्पीट विद अनन्या. चलो.
Ready?
माइक
sit
ऑन
in
कर लो,
solemn
माइक ऑन
silence.
कर लो, माइक ऑन कर लो. चलो.
To sit in solemn silence. To sit in solemn silence in a dull, dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheapy chopper with a big black block.
चलो
So,
चलो 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 10 बार बोलना है यार. तुम लोग को कितनी बार बोल सकते
to sit in solemn silence in a dull, dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheapy chopper with a big black block. To sit in solemn silence in a dull, dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheapy chopper with a big black block. To sit in solemn silence in a dull, dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheapy chopper with a big black block. To sit in solemn silence in a dull, dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheapy chopper with a big black block. To sit in solemn silence in a dull, dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheapy chopper with a big black block. To sit in solemn silence in a dull, dark dock.
Vaishnavi,
Yes.
can you compete?
Yes, sir.
Just compete with Ananya.
To sit
Ready?
in solemn silence in
To sit in
yes.
solemn silence in dull.
To solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a presidential prison.
In presidential prison with
A prisoner
lifelong lock,
prison with a
awaiting the
lifelong lock,
sensation of
awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheap and
cheapy
chippy chopper with a big block block.
black block.
चलो 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 स्टार्ट करो दोनों फटाफट.
To sit in solemn silence in a dark door in a presidential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block.
चलो 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 एक बार और लास्ट स्टार्ट.
To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a presidential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big block block.
Big block.
ठीक है, थैंक यू वेरी मच. चलो, who is the next? Vanshika. Vanshika.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, first you read normal, then 2 times with the jaw lock.
To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a presidential prison.
Open your camera. Your camera is open.
No, sir. Actually, there's been some network issue right now.
अच्छा ठीक
So
है
if
ठीक है,
I
चलो
open the camera, I won't.
कोई बात नहीं, चलो.
To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a presidential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock, with a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block. To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a presidential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock, with a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block. To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a presidential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock with a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block. To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a presidential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock with a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block. To sit in solemn silence in... Yes, sir.
बोलिए स्पीड से पढ़िए.
Yes, sir. To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a presidential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock with a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block. To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a presidential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock with a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block. To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a presidential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock with a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block. To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a presidential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock. Chippy chopper with the big black box.
Ananya, can you compete with her? Ananya.
Yes, sir, sure.
चलो compete करो.
To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block.
चलो करती रहो, 4-5 बार करो तुम लोग competition.
To sit in a solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block. To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block. To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block.
चलो ठीक है,
To sit in
ठीक है, thank you. Yeah, now कौन रह गया है? परिणीता.
Yes, sir.
बोलो.
To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block. To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block.
थोड़ा और होल्ड करो, चीटिंग हो रही है.
To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of short sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block. To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block. To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block.
Speed करो.
To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black
speed.
To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of short sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block.
ठीक
To
है
sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black
ठीक
dog.
है, एक सेकंड होल्ड करो. Ananya and Vaishnavi and Parinita.
Yes,
Now all three compete with each other.
Okay, sir.
to sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in pestilential prison with a lifelong lock awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheap and cheapy chopper with a big black block.
cheap and cheapy chopper.
फिर से start.
To sit
To
in
sit in
solemn
solemn silence in a dull dark dock in pestilential prison with a lifelong lock awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheap and cheapy chopper with a big black block.
chopper with block.
एक बार और.
To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in pestilential prison with a lifelong lock awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheap and cheapy chopper with a big black block.
Big black block.
Parinita, तुमने तो surrender ही कर दिया.
No, sir, बीच में हो गया था.
चलो ठीक है, थैंक यू. और कौन रह गया है अभी? नंदिनी. या नंदिनी, चलो.
Yes, sir.
पढ़ो उसको.
To sit in a solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block.
आगे क्या करना है? होल्ड जॉ को लॉक करो, 2 बार पढ़ो उतनी देर से, और उसके बाद फिर नॉर्मल पढ़ो. चलो.
To sit in a solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block. To sit in a solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block. To sit in a solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block.
कुछ फर्क लगा पहले बार से और चौथी बार से?
Yes, sir. वो jaw open हो रहे हैं.
ठीक है, चलो. अब नाउ स्पीड करो. एंड परिणीता, वैष्णवी एंड अनन्या कॉम्पीट करो इसके साथ.
To sit in solemn
To sit in solemn in a dull dark dock in pestilential prison with a lifelong lock awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block.
Big black block.
चल स्टार्ट.
sit in solemn silence.
To sit in solemn in a dull dark dock in pestilential prison with a lifelong lock awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheapy chopper with a big black block.
Big black block.
करते रहो तुम लोग.
To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in pestilential prison with a lifelong lock awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block.
Big block.
ठीक है. नाउ कहाँ गई है? वंशिका.
Yes, sir.
हाँ, वंशिका और परिणीता कॉम्पीट करो इसके साथ.
To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block.
नंदिनी, तुम नहीं बोल रही हो क्या?
Sir, I thought Parinita and Vanshika only.
ओनली तो मैंने नहीं कहा था. मैंने कहा कॉम्पीट करो तुम्हारे साथ ही. चलो.
Okay, sir.
To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block.
चलो ठीक है, थैंक यू. या कौन रह गया अभी? अंजलि. कौन रह गया अभी? अंजलि कुमारी. अंजलि कुमारी एंड राजलक्ष्मी दोनों एक साथ बोलोगे. चलो. अंजलि कुमारी एंड राजलक्ष्मी, please open your camera and do this exercise together. राजलक्ष्मी कहाँ हो?
सर यही है, वो कैमरा ओपन नहीं हो रहा.
अच्छा ठीक है, चलो कोई बात नहीं. अब दोनों कॉम्पीट करो. दोनों एक साथ शुरू करो, फिर जॉ लॉक करो, फिर कॉम्पीट करो. चलो.
To sit in solemn silence in a dull
dark
Sir,
dock
fast
in a
बोलना है अभी.
pestilential prison
अरे अभी
with a
पहले नॉर्मल पढ़ना है, फिर जॉ लॉक करके पढ़ना है, फिर उसके बाद नॉर्मल पढ़ना है, फिर उसके बाद पास पढ़ना है. बट अभी दोनों एक्सरसाइज साथ साथ कर रहे हो. फर्क बस इतना है, तुम अपना पढ़ो, उसको अपना पढ़ने दो.
Okay, sir. To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block.
नो जॉ लॉक करो और पढ़ो.
To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block. To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock by the human chippy chopper with the big black dog.
ठीक है, अब नॉर्मल पढ़ो.
To sit in solemn
To sit in
silence
solemn
in a
silence in
dull
a dull
dark
dark
dock
dock in a
in a
pestilential prison
pestilential
with a
prison
lifelong
with a
lock, awaiting the
lifelong lock,
sensation of a
awaiting the
soft shock
sensation
from a
of a
cheap and
short
chippy
sharp
chopper with a
shock
big
from a
black
cheap
block.
and chippy chopper with a big black block.
कुछ फर्क पड़ा अंजलि कुमारी?
Yeah, my
क्या?
speed increased.
अच्छा, और राजलक्ष्मी आपको कुछ फर्क पड़ा?
Yes sir, words ज्यादा clear समझ आ रहे थे.
वेरी गुड. अब चलो साथ साथ पढ़ो तुम लोग और स्पीड से एक दूसरे के साथ कॉम्पीट करो.
To sit in solemn
To sit in
silence in a
solemn
dull dark
silence in
dock
a
in a
dull dark dock
pestilential
in a
prison with a
pestilential
lifelong
prison
lock,
with a
awaiting the
lifelong long,
sensation of a
awaiting the
short sharp
sensation of
shock
a
from a
short
cheap and chippy
shock
chopper
from a
with a
cheap
big
and
black
chippy
block.
chopper with a big black
To
block.
sit in
To
solemn
sit in
silence
solemn silence in a dull
dull
dark
dark
dock
dock
in a
in a
pestilential
pestilential
prison with a
prison with a
lifelong
lifelong
lock,
lock,
awaiting the
awaiting the
sensation
sensation
of
of a
the
short
short
sharp shock from a
shock
cheap
from a
and
cheap
chippy
and
chopper
chippy
with a
chopper
big black block.
with big
To
black
sit in
block.
solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a
To sit in
pestilential
solemn silence in
prison
a
with a
dull dark dock
lifelong
in a
lock,
pestilential
awaiting the
prison with a
sensation of a
lifelong lock,
short
awaiting
sharp
the
shock from a
sensation of
cheap and
short
chippy
shock
chopper
from
with a
cheap
big
and chippy
black block.
chopper with a big black block.
To
To
sit
sit
in
in
solemn
solemn
silence in a
silence
dull
in a
dark
dull
dock in a
dark dock in
pestilential
a
prison with a
pestilential prison
lifelong
with a
lock,
lifelong
awaiting
lock,
the sensation
awaiting the
of a
sensation
short
of
sharp
short
shock from a cheap
from
and
cheap
chippy
and
chopper
chippy
with a
chopper with
big
a big
black
black
block.
block. To sit in
To sit in solemn silence in a dull
silence in
dark
a dull
dock in a
dark dock in a
pestilential prison
pestilential
with a
prison with a
lifelong lock,
lifelong
awaiting
block,
the
awaiting the
sensation of a
sensation of
short sharp
short
shock from a cheap
shock
and
from
chippy
cheap
chopper
and
with
chippy
a big
chopper with a
black
big
block.
black block.
To
To
sit
sit
in solemn
in
silence in a
solemn
dull
silence
dark
in a
dock in
dull
a
dark dock in a
pestilential prison with
pestilential
a
prison with a
lifelong lock,
lifelong
awaiting
block,
the
awaiting the
sensation of a
sensation
short
of
sharp shock from a
shock
cheap
from
and
cheap
chippy
and chippy
chopper with a
chopper
big black block.
big black block.
To sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a
तेज
pestilential
तेज
prison.
तेज राजलक्ष्मी अंजलि, स्पीड इतनी हो कि कम्पीट ना कर सको एक दूसरे के साथ. चलो.
To sit in solemn silence in a dull
Silence
dark
in a
dock
dull
in a
dark dock in a
pestilential prison with a
pestilential prison
lifelong
with a
block, awaiting
lifelong
the
lock,
sensation of
awaiting the sensation
shock
of a
from
short
cheap
sharp
and
shock
chippy
from
chopper
cheap
with a
and chippy
big
chopper
black
with a
block.
big black block. To sit in solemn silence in a dull
In a
dark dock
dull
in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short sharp shock from cheap and chippy chopper with a big black block.
ठीक है, चलो. और कोई रह गया है अभी? थैंक यू गाइस. कोई रह गया है अभी? सब किसी ने बोल दिया या कोई बचा हुआ है अभी? क्या हुआ, आप लोग बोल क्यों नहीं रहे? मेरी समझ में नहीं आता है. सुनाई दे रहा है मेरी बात?
यस सर, सबने बोल दिया.
यस सर, सबका हो गया.
हाँ ठीक है. अब एक काम करो कि सबके सब एक साथ ये नेक्स्ट वाला जॉ को लॉक करो और बोलो 3 बार. सबके सब एक साथ बोलो, जो मर्जी है बोलो.
2, 3, cheese, 3, 4, 3, all this you would
ठीक है. अब नॉर्मल पढ़ो, नॉर्मल पढ़ो 2 बार लाउडली.
2, 3 cheese, trees, 3 free, please, flew, while these fleas flew, freezy breeze blew, freezy breeze made these 3 trees freeze, freezy trees made these trees freezy trees, that's what made these 3 free, these sneeze.
That is what these cheese trees, three fleas flew, while these three flew, freezy breeze blew. Freezy breeze made these trees
2, 3 cheese trees, 3 free, please flew, while these fleas flew, freezy breeze blew, freezy breeze made these 3 trees freeze, freezy trees made these trees cheese free, that's what made these 3 free fleas please sneeze.
ठीक है, चलो चलो. ओके, अब स्पीड में पढ़ो और एक दूसरे के साथ कॉम्पीट करो.
2, 3 cheese trees, 3 free fleas flew, while these flea flew,
सबसे
freezy
पहले
breeze
कौन
blew, freezy breeze trees, 3 trees freeze, freezy trees, these
सबसे
trees
पहले कौन
cheese,
खत्म करता है?
made these trees
that's what makes the 3 free flew
that's what
sneeze.
made these three fleas
सबसे पहले कौन खत्म करता है, उसके लिए स्पीड के साथ पढ़ो. चलो.
Through three cheese trees, three free flews fleas, while these fleas flew freezy breeze, blew freezy breeze, made these three trees freeze, freezy trees made these three cheese freeze. That's what made these three free flews sneeze.
That's what made this tree.
करो 3 बार करो.
Through three cheese trees, three free flews flew, while these fleas flee, freezy breeze blew, freezy breeze made these three trees freeze, freezy trees made these trees cheese freeze. That's what made this three cheese freeze sneeze.
That's what made
Through the
this
trees, three flews, these flews, blew freezy breeze made these three trees flew, freezy trees made these trees cheese freeze. That's what made these three free fleas sneeze.
please sneeze.
Okay. Okay, guys. So, how are you finding this exercise? Yeah, quick feedback, अंजलि. कैसा लगा ये exercise और इससे कुछ फायदा हुआ या बेकार का exercise था? अंजलि कुमारी.
Sorry, sir. Sir, it was a good exercise to clear your words and increase your speed.
Yeah, Ananya.
Yes, sir. I think it's a great exercise to enhance my words during presentation, and I found it super helpful for me.
Parinita.
Yes, sir. I think this exercise helped me so much in making fluency of speaking, and yeah, and it helps in pronunciation too.
Okay. Anjali Kushwaha.
Yes, this is such a funny and interesting exercise you made us to do, and I think this will help us to make our words more different. Like we sometimes mix the words and say that what it make good.
Yeah, Nandini.
Please tell me how opening my door.
Yes, Subhangi Pant.
Yes, I think it helped in the pronunciation, for the better pronunciation. I think it helped in the opening the jaws properly. I always spoke so fast that I just mixed up the words and the pronunciations are always wrong. So I think it will help in the pronunciation better if I speak fast.
Vaishnavi.
Yes, sir. It helped me a lot in speaking clear and in a speed, and helped me in my pronunciation uh, clearly, and so it helped me a lot. Thank you, sir.
ठीक है. कौन रह गया? परिणीता. आप लोग कैमरा क्यों बंद कर लेते हो?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Parinita. क्या? You have
I
already shared?
found this.
Okay,
Yes, sir, I have shared.
बोलो.
Sir, I found this session very useful as it helps in fluency of English and making my pronunciation better too. And it's a very interesting exercise which helps in our daily life too. Thank you.
Vanshika.
Yes, sir. So I found this very helpful because it is a technique that would help enhance the English pronunciation and help. It's a technique that would help us not to fumble on words on a presentation.
ठीक है. Simran.
So this is an excellent exercise.
माइक आप अपना अनम्यूट करें. हाँ, अनम्यूट करो. देखते नहीं हो तुम लोग कि म्यूट है कि अनम्यूट है. बोलो.
Sir, this is an excellent exercise to take it words slightly and also open our jaw.
ठीक है. राजलक्ष्मी. Thank you. Rajlakshmi.
Yes, sir. This
Bole.
was a very helpful exercise. It helped to open my jaws and make my words sound clearer, and it would be very useful if someone practices this before a speech or presentation.
Okay. So good. At least you guys are, exercising these things. So